Today the topic is focus, the true you. And so what is focus? Focus is the ability to begin a project without procrastination and then maintain that energy and focus until the completion. Focus gives us the ability to push through distractions, obstacles, problems, and failures with enough energy to reach our goal. Focus is the big brother to visualization. Focus keeps us going when everything around us tells us to stop. Focus maintains our inner vision long enough to fulfill our task, our goal, and our need. Quote, "I don't care how much power, brilliance, or energy you have, if you don't harness it and focus it on a specific target and hold it there, you're never going to accomplish as much as your ability warrants." Zig Ziglar. James 1, 5-9 from the Phillips version. "And if in the process any of you does not know how to meet any particular problems, he has only to ask God, who gives generously to all men without making them feel foolish or guilty. And he may be quite sure that the necessary wisdom will be given him. But we must ask in sincere faith, without secret doubts, as to whether he really wants God's help or not. The man who trusts God, but with inward reservations, is like a wave of the sea, carried forward by the wind, and one moment and driven back the next. And that sort of man can't hope to receive anything from God. And the life of a man of divided loyalty will reveal instability at every turn." That's a mouthful. That was a quote from James, the half-brother of Jesus Christ. It was a guy who understood focus. He learned a lot of that from his family, especially his big brother, Jesus. And he gives the answer to the first and second recorded question in the Bible. Do you really believe this God stuff? 1. And 2, where's your focus? Where's your head at? And James says, focus to eliminate secret doubts. And remember that any divided loyalty of focus will reveal our instability. And then 2, focus without reservations. Focus on what you want, not on what you don't want. Because you get what you want. You get what you expect. We always get what we remain focused on. So what is focus? Focus is an amazing clarity. It's being aware, being present in the moment. It's imagined victory realized. It's keeping your head down, eye on the ball, and connecting. It's being in the zone, nothing but net. It's the crosshairs on target center. Focus is fearless in the face of adversity. Focus confirms we exist. Focus is control. Focus. At the gym the other day, I saw a slim young lady with her hair neatly kept up on top of her head, and she was shooting baskets from the three-point arc at various places. Never missed. Her middle-aged father was standing under the basket, feeding her the ball as it came through the net. There was no words. It was a ballet. It was a dance. It was a routine. It was a kata, if you will. You know, I was mesmerized by this for about 5 minutes. And in those few minutes that I watched, she never missed. She never even touched the rim with the ball. And it was just the repeated swish of nothing but net. Her face and her form were exactly the same on each shot, and her follow-through was exactly the same on every single shot, no matter where she was standing. It was as if all she could see was the bottom of that basket. She was perfecting her ability to stay in the zone, and at that moment, she had perfect focus. It was fun to watch. Quote, Winners, I'm convinced, imagine their dreams first. They want it with all their heart and expect it to come true. There is, I believe, no other way to live. Joe Montana. Quote, you can't do it unless you can imagine it. George Lucas. He's imagined some pretty wild stuff. See, the gap between the people who have and the people who don't have can be understood by what fills the gap. The gap is focus. Focus is what fills the gap between the haves and the have-nots. Today I'm going to show you that the thing that fills that gap, that wanting it, that having it, is focus. Now remember, focus isn't just one glimpse. It's not writing something down on a sheet of paper and never looking at it again. Focus is sustained. It doesn't ever end. It's there when you get up in the morning. It's there all through the workday. It's there in the evening. It's there when you wake up in the middle of the night. It's always there. That's focus. Quote, people with clear written goals accomplish far more in a shorter period of time than people without them could ever imagine. Brian Tracy. And some of you have done it through your life. You've written down goals, and then at times we don't do it. And I guarantee the most successful time in your life was probably the time you were firmly attending to your goals. And Josephine and I used to write down, we moved so many times, and we'd always write down exactly what we wanted in a house. And then we'd look at that and pray about that every day. We always got everything we wanted. Never did we not get it. Coincidence? Maybe. Maybe not. The focus of verse 8 of James 1 can be described in many ways. But watch how it connects the lack of focus to divided loyalty. And isn't that the first question again? Do you really believe this stuff about God being able to direct you to your prize? If God created the universe, which he did, and he fills all time, which he does, if God loves us, which he surely does, and he promised to supply each and every one of our needs, bar none, we should focus on nothing less. Anything less would be uncivilized. James 1:8 from The Voice. The splinter of divided loyalty shatters your compass and leaves you dizzy and confused. Again, that's James, the half-brother of Jesus. The splinter of divided loyalty, that's of thought, shatters your compass and leaves you dizzy and confused. And that's why people don't receive, because they have divided loyalty. Yeah, I believe God, but I don't know if I really want to step out on that. It's a little spooky. A compass allowed ancient mariners to navigate without the stars, without the sun, even on cloudy days or dark nights. We each have an inner compass that allows us to navigate through life and to our treasure, whatever our treasure is. Either we believe this God stuff or we don't. If you believe it, focus on it and go get it. It isn't any harder than that. It's hard work. But that's as simple as it is. Here's some fun facts on the compass. Some say that the Chinese invented the compass about 200 BC. Others say it was the Mesoamericans of Central America in about 1000 BC. And they found evidence that they used the lodestone. And the compass was always used for direction, but not always physical direction. And before I get into the next thought, but the lodestone, it was just a stone that they would hang on a string, and it didn't point north, it pointed south. So the first compasses always pointed south, not to the north, which is sort of different. But it's interesting that the first use of the compass was not for navigation, but it was for divination and or spiritual direction. And the Chinese also used an early form of the compass to organize and harmonize buildings in accordance with the principles of feng shui. So they'd hold these little lodestones, and they would have everything go a certain they decorate it in a certain direction. And it was almost 580 A.D. before the compass was used for navigation on the high seas. Before that, it was always point of sight. They would stay close enough to the shore so they would know where they were. And so the compass opened the world up for exploration. I mean, it changed everything when people figured that out. When we can learn to understand the compass that we have built in, and I'll show you a verse that will prove that, then it's an unlimited world out there for us. And we can find our way to our prize, to our treasure, to whatever whatever your heart's desire. See, that internal compass is set to the true north. And every person has this. And Romans 1:19 and 20 from the Voice. These people are not ignorant about what can be known of God, because he has shown it to them with great clarity from the beginning. Creation in its magnificence enlightens us to his nature. Creation itself makes his undying power and divine identity clear, even though they are invisible. And it voids the excuses and ignorant claims of the people. See, there's never been a time that people didn't have access to the beauty and power offered by the Creator. It's always been available to humankind. Every human has been given unobstructed access to truth and access to the giver of all good things. A full backstage pass with no pat-downs. See, we have no excuse not to prosper. No excuse. Even before we heard the words of truth, we all felt their presence deep within. It's built within the framework of every child. But the world waters it down, washes it away. Do you really believe? Do you really, really, really believe that God's going to supply all your need? Or is it just talk? Romans 2:14 through 16 from the Message. And here we go. When outsiders who have never heard of God's law follow it more or less by instinct, they confirm its truth by their obedience. They show that God's law is not something alien, imposed on us from without, but it's woven into the very fabric of our creation. There's something deep within them that echoes God's yes and no, right and wrong. Their response to God's yes and no will become public knowledge on the day God makes his final decision about every man and woman. If we feel we've lost our way, we've lost our mojo, we've lost our access, we've lost our focus on what's real and true and right and light, there's a way back. There's a way back. This verse also answers the question, will non-Christians make it to heaven? See, everybody has the truth inside of them. They have that internal compass that'll point you right to God, right to your treasure, right to your answer. It's all there. Everybody has it, but the world muddies it. And we're going to get to a verse in just a moment that'll show that you have heard so many times, but I'm going to show you what it really means, and it'll be different. It's simple. We're going to go to James chapter 1. We're going to read 5 through 8 from the Message. If you don't know what you're doing, pray to the Father. He loves to help. You'll get his help and won't be condescended to when you ask for it. Ask boldly, believingly, without a second thought. People who worry their prayers are like wind-whipped waves. Don't think you're going to get anything from the Master that way. Adrift at sea, keeping all your options open. Isn't that what the world tries to get us to do? You know, maybe that God stuff, that's a little bit out there. Keep your options open. You see, success in life is all about focus. It's not keeping your options open just in case. Full focus is fantastic. Every successful person does this. And that's why many times they're oblivious to other things in life, because they're just so totally focused on making it as an actor, in their business, whatever it is. It's still focus. Quote, Sun Tzu say, "Can you imagine what I would do if I could do all I can?" What would you be doing if you were doing everything you could possibly do? Would your life be different? They say we use 10 or 20% of our brain. Imagine using 80%, 90%. Or your abilities, your training, whatever it is, your energy. Quote, "In art, the hand can never execute anything higher than the heart can imagine." Ralph Waldo Emerson. See, how high is your vision about your own abilities? How high is your vision about God's abilities? How high is your vision about another's abilities? Do we think of them as being great, like the word says, or do we think of them as being small? What do we say in our private conversations behind people's back? It all shows our heart. What do we say to ourselves within our own heads during the day? Is it great? Is it lofty? Is it powerful? Is it incredible? Or is it, I wonder what people are thinking of me? I wonder if they think I can do this, or if it's just focused on us, we're not heading toward any goal. We can't be so tightly wrapped around ourselves with our thoughts. We have to open it up. It's not easy to do if a person is a little bit self-conscious, but it's sure worth doing. Let your light so shine before men that they can see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. And here we go. See, focus gives us the ability to push through distractions, obstacles, problems, and failures with enough energy to reach our goal. That's focus. Now, the race is not to the swift. You ever heard that? Now, this is a section of Scripture that was really intended to help us maintain focus, a galvanized focus, so that we could reach any and every goal. Sadly, it's been watered down by preachers and ministries so that'll help us limit our belief in ourselves, so we allow ourselves to be controlled. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. Ecclesiastes 9:11, King James. "I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all." I've only heard that verse used as an excuse. I've only heard that verse used as an excuse. The race is it's not always to the swift. People use it as an excuse on why they didn't succeed. I hear people use this verse all the time as a justification for their failure. The reason I didn't succeed is because the race doesn't always go to the swift. The adversary got involved, pushed someone else ahead of me, and I got burned. Now, we might have all heard ourselves say stuff like that. But have you ever heard that verse not use it as an excuse? It's always like, well, I didn't get that position because, the race isn't always to the swift. Battle's not always to the strong. That's not the point of this. And I'll prove that in just a second. See, it almost seems fatalistic, stoic, apathetic, and its intent is just the opposite. Now look at these next translations. This is the same verse from the TLB. And again, I looked throughout the earth and saw that the swiftest person does not always win the race, nor the strongest man the battle, and the wise men are often poor, and skillful men are not necessarily famous. But it is all by chance, by happening to be in the right place at the right time. The NLT. It's all decided by chance by being in the right place at the right time. Here's the WYC. But timing and happenstance, that's coincidence, to be everything. See, this puts a different slant on verse 11. Timing is everything. Have you heard that before? Timing is everything. Being at the right place at the right time is the key to any and every victory. You think it is in the military? Oh, yeah. In hunting? Right place, right time? Oh, yeah. It's always that way. How do you get yourself from point A to point B? To be at the right place at the right time. That's the key, and that takes focus. Being at the right place at the right time is the key to any victory. Perfect timing takes complete focus and faithful follow-through. Like that girl throwing the baskets. Same follow-through, same movement every single time. And she hit it every time for about 5 minutes. I've never seen anybody do that. What do you think Solomon was saying here? Quote, quit before you start. Don't feel too bad if you never reach your goal. Someone beat you to it. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Is that what Solomon's saying here? Is this just so we can make an excuse because we didn't have enough focus to reach our goal? That's not the point. We'll get to the point in just a minute. This verse is not meant to be an excuse. It's meant to be an exercise that will inspire us to galvanize our focus. But it's all about the intended time that we have on earth, or a limited time on earth. The Hebrew word for chance, pegah, in verse 11 means the point of impact, the intersection of thought, an intercession, the meeting, a connection, a goal reached. See, we maintain focus until we connect with what we expect. That's how long you stay focused on your goal. If you don't have it, you stay focused. Quote, I'm not focused on what other people think of me. Cate Blanchett. An actor couldn't be. See, if you find yourself always wondering what others think about you, we've greatly limited our potential to succeed. It's hard to do if you've been put down many times in your life, to not wonder what people think. It's difficult. The world trains us to care so deeply about what others think, but that's not focus. That waters down our focus. do I really believe this stuff? Quote, survival can be summed up in 3 words. Never give up. That's the heart of it, really. Just keep trying. Bear Grylls. Never give up. Just keep trying. When you fail, get up and try again. There's going to be failures. You're not going to hit it every time. We're not going to find that true north of our soul every time we want something. But we just keep going. Okay, I blew it that time. I'm going to be smarter this time. And then you change direction. We get focused. We get centered. We're present with ourselves. And then boom, we start heading toward that new goal, that new direction. See, the word happened in verse 11 doesn't mean to coincidentally be in the right place at the right time. And that's how King James sounds. In fact, all these sound like that. Quote, things may work out, or maybe they won't. Or don't get your hope up too high, because it all just depends. It just depends. No. The word happened means it has already come to pass. It's happened. It happened. It's done. There's no maybe. Happened is also translated in a couple of verses as the perfect laying of beams to support a house. It's just perfectly, they're set exactly in the right place to support the next floor or that roof. That's also that word happened. He just happened to do it exactly right. It's a done deal, done right. If we read the verse before and after, we're going to understand the point and the inspirational focus of King Solomon here. And these are verses you've heard, but now I want you to think of it as a package. Verse 10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest. 11. I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither the bread to the wise, nor yet riches to the men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill. But time and chance happeneth to them all. Verse 12, for man also knoweth not his time. This is not meant to be fatalistic. Wasn't Solomon, who was the wisest and most focused man on earth, saying, and this is in my words, in that none of us know how long our journey is really going to be on this earth. Let's put all of our focus and all of our might into the task at hand. If it's worth doing right. Sure, there are many capable people out there pushing for the same prize. And these people are very good. They're pros. Always remember this. It's the one who focuses their attention on the task at hand and makes sure they put themselves in the right place at the right time who becomes the victor. The greater the focus, the greater the gain. The better your timing, the bigger your trophy. That's what I believe these verses are saying. It's not like, oh, well, I didn't get that job because, the race is not to the swift, or I wasn't able to handle this situation, because, battle's not always to the strong, just the way it goes. That just cuts your believing, folks, with that attitude. The point is, there's always going to be, you're going to see people out there that you think should be getting it, they're not, but you can. You can. But it's time and chance, so to speak. It's time and happening. It's just making it happen, being in the right place at the right time. You see, and putting enough energy into your actions so you'll never stop till you hit your goal. You ever been so tired after a workout you could hardly move your legs or your arms? I know somebody here was a power lifter. There was times you couldn't pick up a penny probably. You know, I mean, if you ever worked out that hard, you know, and so you understand that. You couldn't skate one more lap. You're done. You're burned out. You see? Well, I mean, that's really the attitude. You just don't stop until you get what you want. If you don't get it this time, get it next time. But if we're always thinking that I didn't get it because, just the way it went, oh well, you know, not always for me. I can't win them all. You see, you should think you should win them all. You can win them all. That's the attitude Solomon's saying here. You should win them all. But you only got a limited time on this earth. And in that limited time on earth, give it your all. Give it your all. Believe to be pointed by that internal spiritual compass that's within you to the right place at the right time. So you don't have to waste years getting there. Quote, stay focused, go after your dreams, and keep moving towards your goals. LL Cool J. Quote, I'm more focused and have a greater sense of challenge because I constantly feel the weight of time. Sylvester Stallone. As we age, we all feel the weight of time. I only have so much time to go to Italy. I only have so much time to visit my children. I need to get some stuff in before I reach such and such an age. We all think that stuff. And Solomon saw this. Use your time wisely. Whatever time you have, it's going to be enough. It's going to be enough. Let's totally focus on the task at hand. Give our full, undivided attention to whatever we decide to do. And also give our full and undivided attention to whomever we decide to do it with. Quote, give whatever you are doing and whoever you are with the gift of your attention. I like that, the gift of your attention. If you're going to do something, give it the gift of your attention. If you're going to be with somebody, give them your full attention. Do you like when somebody's looking at their texting while you're talking to them? No, it's irritating. Or where they're like looking around, you're talking to them and they don't want to be there. If you're going to spend time with somebody, give them your full attention or don't waste your time with them. If they're not worth your time, then don't do it. Don't spend that time. You only have a limited amount of time to accomplish your tasks. If you know this person always wastes your time at lunchtime or coffee break or whatever it is, then avoid them. Be with somebody you know isn't going to waste your time. You get what I'm saying. If you find yourself wasting an hour every night trying to find the end of the internet, and you're just randomly going through, why don't you focus, instead of doing random searches, focus on something you want, or you want to do, or you want to help somebody else with. The rest of it's folly. So give your all to get it all. Deuteronomy 8:18. But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth, and so confirms His covenant, which He swore to your ancestors as it is today. See, we've each given the ability to prosper. That pointer will go right to your prize. But we have to learn to listen. Your prize is different than mine. Sometimes we have a group prize we're all heading toward. And there's more power in that. If two shall agree on earth as touching anything, it shall what? Be done. Pretty good stuff. We each have been given the ability to prosper. I like how it said, ability to produce wealth. I mean, that's God's design for us. If I'm not seeing it, then somehow I'm not in tune with that inner compass. I haven't found my true north. Or south if you're using the old lodestone. If you're older and you only got that old rock in you on a string, you still know what direction you're going. I remember one time, the first time I ever went rifle hunting, and I was in Upper Michigan, and it was cloudy, and the ground was covered with snow, and there was no shadow, and I had this little pin-on compass, looked like a little round ball. It had the little floating compass in there, and so I was gonna go out and off by myself and see if I could hap chance find a dumb deer, because I surely wasn't a good hunter, but it was fun walking in the woods holding a weapon, and so I was out and I saw footprints, and I noticed they were the boot prints of one of my friends that I was hunting with, and I saw them go out, and then I just followed them because I didn't really have anything else to do. I didn't know where I was going, so I decided I was going to follow these footprints, and they made this like a mile loop, and it made this circle after about a mile, and finally I caught up with this guy, and I said, "Hey man, where you going?" He goes, "I'm heading deep. I'm going to stay out all day." And I said, "You're 100 yards from the cabin." And because I had been watching where I was going with my compass, he had made a full loop because he didn't have a compass. And instead of going deep, he ended up right where he started. It was surprising. It shocked me the same. And every human will walk in a circle because one leg is stronger than the other. And search and rescue knows this. Adults will always go downhill. Children will usually go uphill. And there's certain things that they know. A right-handed person will always turn to the left. A left-handed person will curve more to the right if they don't know what they're doing. And so we should know what we're doing. And we have to learn to follow a compass, because every human, no matter what country or what religion they ended up doing, you see, they were born with that compass. It's there, but we get talked out of it. And that's why we don't have what we need. It's focus, folks. Ecclesiastes 11:6 from the Voice. Get up early to sow your seed, and at evening find worthwhile things to do, for you never know which will profit you. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe both. I like that. It also says in verse 4 of that chapter, he that observeth the wind shall not sow, and he that regardeth the clouds shall not reap. See, never allow excuses to stop you from reaching your true goal. Excuses come in all shapes and sizes. And even a verse can be twisted to help you reduce your believing. I was visiting a man the other day who owns a automobile shop. And he goes, "Come here, I want to show you something." He's an old guy, a little older than me. And he showed me his bicycle. He goes, "That's a 29er. It's a mountain bike. So they have 29-inch wheels. A lot of people buying these things now." And he said, I exercise every day, rain or shine, snow, wind, sleet, hell. I'm just committed to it, and nothing gets in my way. He'll ride 12 miles to work and 12 miles back, or he'll do something. But he says, I'm committed to do this. And I've done this for years and years, and it's just a part of my life now. But it didn't start a part of his life. At one point, he had to decide to start exercising. Because how many times you go, I'm not going to run. It looks a little chilly out there, or I'm not going to, and we've all done stuff like that. But when you make your mind, it doesn't matter. If you're planting, it doesn't matter the wind, the rain, the sun. You just do what you have to do on that day. Use the time you have wisely. See, stay focused on the things you really want. And you will be surprised how well things will turn out for you. That's what Solomon was trying to teach. You think he had focus? to make Israel the greatest nation in the world at that time, he had incredible focus. His servants were dressed like kings. Servants. What do you think of yourself? What do you think about your job? The people that surround you. I mean, he had to have this incredible vision and then the ability to make it happen. He had storehouses full of stuff. Queen of Sheba came from all across the world to see what he had. Other kings came to visit. They heard about it. They couldn't believe anybody did what he did, but he did. And this is how his mind was set. Sure, there's people out there who are winning. There's people out there taking each other's prize. The smart people aren't always the ones at the top. Why? It's because the people who made up their minds, they were going to make it. They were going to be at the right place at the right time. They were going to put the right energy in. They're the ones who made it, not the rich, not the smart. That's Solomon's lesson there. Anybody can do it if you just set your mind and you go for it. Excuse the yelling. But, I like, here's a great one. Deuteronomy 28:2. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Overtake you. It's like Publishers Clearinghouse tracking you down and putting a $10 million giant check in your hands. Woo! You see? I mean, just the blessings overtaking you. You ever seen a dog chasing like a toddler in a yard? The kid's trying to run away from the dog, and the dog runs and then jumps on the kid, and the kid falls down laughing or crying and then gets his face licked. I mean, it's just overtaken with blessing. That's God's vision for us. Do you feel it? We should. We should be, every day we should be overtaken with blessing. I remember being in a clearing once, and the dry, tall grass was all around me. It was about a 100-foot clearing, about the size of this room here. And all of a sudden, I heard this, and this rabbit came shooting across the trail right next to me. I could feel its little paws, thumping past me. And I thought, what the? Then I heard, I couldn't see it, but I could hear something crashing through the tall grass. And then I looked and I saw this dog, it was like a husky, and it was porpoising through the grass. It kept looking up, and it was looking for that rabbit, and it'd go down and just bounce, crash, up and down, and then it hit that clearing and boom, ran right next to me, and I could feel the breeze as it ran by. And then it crashed into the brush until I heard a little bit of thrashing and then nothing. So I assumed he, found his goal. You see, but I mean, he overtook it. You see, Psalm 68:19, King James says, "Blessed be the Lord who daily loadeth us with benefits, even the God of our salvation." He daily loadeth us with blessings, like a dump truck. Full of blessings. It's just overflowing with blessings. It's backing up to your house. Beep, 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 beep. And then he pulls a lever and it just dumps the blessings right through your front door. You see, expect blessings to be lavished, dumped on you daily. Do you? Do you really expect that? Do you really think that God can really do that for you? Do you really believe this God stuff? He daily loadeth us. Daily loadeth us. Every day should be better than the next day. How big should our pile be? What do you need to be blessed by? I remember I worked on maintenance my first year in college on the maintenance crew. And I got paid half of minimum wage is what they paid college kids in those days. It's like $1.92 an hour. And to help me with my room and board, of which was $300 a semester. And And so I was on this we were on a trash truck this day, and it was full of paper, not messy trash. And one of our fellow employees was in one of the other work trucks, and he thought he'd be funny and pull at a stoplight, pull all the way up, and then kiss the bumper of the dump truck. Well, the guy who was driving thought he would show him, and so he pulled the lever, and all of a sudden, it starts tilting real slowly. And then I was looking at the rear view mirror, and I saw him put it in reverse, and before all the trash was going to fall all over his truck. He daily loadeth us with blessings. See, we're each and all designed to prosper in anything we put our mind to. Quote, when every physical and mental resource is focused, one's power to solve a problem multiplies tremendously. Norman Vincent Peale. See, the race may not go to the swift, but you can win at this game of life if you use your time wisely and push to be at the right place at the right time. That's a lesson of today. That should be our focus, to always be at the right place at the right time and to use our time wisely. Because you only have it's finite. Every human is custom built with an inner compass that'll point the way to prosperity. But it takes a fresh focus to maintain that motivation. Quote, the successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus. Bruce Lee. Hi. See, what is focus? Focus is the ability to begin a project without procrastination and then maintain the energy and focus through completion. Focus gives us the ability to push through distractions, obstacles, problems, and failures with enough energy to reach our goal. Focus is the big brother to visualization. Focus keeps us going when everything around us tells us to stop. Focus maintains our inner vision long enough to fulfill our task, reach our goal, or have our need met. Take the time to focus with that true you. God bless.